What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is the fourth time I'm trying to film this video, and I'm quite frankly over it already, so hopefully this time around I can just get straight to it. We're going to be talking about a new Shudder movie that's coming out this weekend, and that is called Moloch. Directed by Nico Brink, who wrote this film alongside Dan Baker, and stars people like Sallie, Harmsen, Alexandre, Willaume, as well as Goessens and many others. This is a story about a family that has some sort of curse that's been haunting them from way in their past. Hey guys, what's going on? As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is the fourth time I'm trying to film this, and quite frankly, I'm starting to lose my mind a little bit. So I'm gonna try to get straight to the point here so that I don't ruin this review any further. So yeah, this is a new movie that's coming out on Shudder. Again, a big thanks to them for sending me a screener for this movie and letting me check out one of their movies and talk about it a little bit early. Now, I could have dropped this review a lot sooner, but due to some things going on this week, as well as also covering another Shudder release coming out this week known as This Is War that I already covered here on the channel, I'm just now getting to this. So as of filming this, I'm actually filming this one night before it actually drops on Shudder already. So whether you're watching this weeks down the line and the movie's already been out and the movie is what brought you here, whatever the case may be, welcome to the video. If you're new to the channel, I definitely want to welcome you to hit that subscribe button and become a part of the family and join the various movie topics and TV topics and all these other random crap that we talk about here on the channel. I definitely would appreciate it. And if you're somebody who's been watching me for quite some time, thank you again for coming back. I genuinely appreciate it. Without further ado though, let's get into this movie. And I didn't really know what Moloch was about going into this. I had only seen the poster and I was not familiar with the word or the term Moloch. So I actually had nothing in my mind in terms of an idea of what this would be heading into it. This is about a family that has some sort of curse within their lineage, or at least they believe so. And they live in a town where there is a bit of a folklore about some sort of evil spirit. I'll leave it at that without getting too far into the details, because what I will say is, from the very beginning of the movie, I found myself engaged to see where this would go. I can honestly say, having seen the whole movie, that I really enjoyed the setup at the beginning, and I really actually enjoyed the conclusion of the film. I think overall, as a horror film, there's a lot of really well executed scenes in terms of its direction. The overall look, feel, and vibe of this film, most times, as well as the score that's following these moments, I thought was really, really solid. There was a bit of a mix issue in terms of audio and the copy that I watched. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same for the copy that's on Shudder, but I found that the audio for the dialogue was way lower than when the music would ramp up, which would usually take over the audio, and I kind of have to keep putting the volume up and down. But overall, the look and feel of this movie, as well as the music that kind of went along with everything, I thought was pretty solid. Now, it's nothing groundbreaking, but there is some pretty good cinematography here, and again, there are really well executed and directed scenes of horror here. Now, I didn't find myself scared at all, and I think a lot of that has to come down to the story. And for me, the story a little bit was messy. I wasn't always fully engaged in everything that was going on. I really thoroughly enjoyed some of the performances. There was times where I was really into what was going on because of the performances and the direction, the lighting, and the cinematography. And so there was definitely moments of horror that pulled me in. But, you know, outside of that, I found that a little bit of the way that they were kind of piecing together the story was a little bit messy. And there were a lot of characters that by the end of it, you genuinely still don't care a lot about. With that said, though, again, I really enjoyed the setup. I liked the very beginning of the film, the first sequence with this young little girl. I won't get too deep into what happens there, but there's a opening sequence with a young girl. The movie had just started and I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm in. This seems pretty cool. I'm liking the way that this looks and this feels. Definitely got a nice horror vibe to it. And, you know, as the movie progressed, I found myself bored at times. I wasn't always super engaged. I didn't always feel like there was completely necessary scenes all the time. There were things I probably would have trimmed out here or there. There are small moments of fat in the movie that I felt weren't really necessary. There are moments between characters that don't really feel earned and honestly don't really have much payoff later on. And overall, just little moments here and there that I would have trimmed out, which I think overall kind of made this movie a bit of a lackluster experience for me. In the middle, I wasn't crazy about the journey, but I liked where we ended up and I liked the way it started, and I like how the end of the film tied in with what was going on at the very beginning of the film and gives you a completely new recontextualized look at the story that you just saw. And honestly, I had more to say and I was more gripped by the last 10 minutes of this movie than anything else, which I guess is a great thing, right? I mean, you want to go into a movie and, you know, be really into the ending and kind of make the whole journey feel worth it. And so what I can say is, for the most part, you know, it is worth it. By the time you get to the end, I did like the way that they wrapped up the story. I don't really want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but the ending I thought was really effective. And I think my biggest issue with this film is the middle chunk of the film. There are just a lot of moments that I just felt could have been trimmed out. There is a lot of really good foreshadowing for things that can pay off later on or happen later on that you don't really expect, or things that you don't even think are foreshadowing. So I thought there was definitely some clever writing at that point in the film, in the middle, kind of setting up for some of the things that were going to happen in the last 10 minutes. But there was also a lot of fat that I would have trimmed. There was a lot of moments between characters I was not crazy about, and things that ultimately just sometimes felt rushed and a little bit unearned. But yeah, you know, overall, this wasn't a crazy good movie for me. I found it to be entertaining. It was cool to watch. I wasn't completely captivated and entertained from beginning to end, but you know, it wasn't the worst thing to watch. So as you can tell, I'm a little torn on it. I think this is a movie that has really good horror elements and has some really well executed sequences with some good performances, but I never really found myself fully gripped to the story. I found myself more gripped in just trying to see where it was going to kind of go. And I can say I was satisfied with the last 10 minutes of the film and how it ties into the very beginning of the film. But it was that journey. It was that journey that was a little bit slow, a little bit boring, that I think that kind of takes this movie from, you know, what could have been a really good movie to just kind of being like, oh, it was a decent time, you know, a decent horror watch. Nothing crazy, nothing I'm in love with, nothing I'm clamoring to revisit, but a movie that, you know, I was like, yeah, I didn't hate that I watched it, but I probably won't watch it again. So that's where I'm going to wrap up my thoughts. I don't have too much more to say about it, and I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say about it down below in the comments section. So if you've seen this movie, please leave your thoughts on the movie. Did you like the movie? What did you think about the end? Do you kind of agree with me that the first and last half of the movie are kind of the best part, and that the middle is like kind of slower and not necessarily all that interesting? Or did you actually really enjoy the journey? Or did you flat out think this movie sucked and you don't think the beginning or the end was good? I definitely want to hear what you guys say. Please leave those comments down below. And yeah, a big thanks to you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.